It's time again to go out and do some photography, but today I'm doing it a little differently than usual. In today's video, I'm only going to shoot with my phone. Firstly, because this is an interesting challenge, but secondly, and more importantly, I want to encourage everyone watching my videos who doesn't own a camera yet and is stuck to doing photography with his or her phone to do exactly that, mobile photography. In case that is you, please don't be discouraged to practice your photography if the only camera available to you is your phone. Photography is about your vision and how you can see things in an interesting way, not what you use to photograph something. My phone is actually capable of shooting raw image files, which would usually be my choice. However, because I know that not every phone has this capability, I'm going to relinquish that feature for this video. Instead, I'm going to use a photography app, which I recently found. It's available for both Android and iOS, so I think now the conditions are pretty much equal for everybody. The app is called Fimo. It is actually a film photography simulation. What the app does is basically it adds a LUT or preset on every photo you shoot to give it a certain look. In the app, you choose your film, so the preset or look that you want your photos to get. I find this adds a new level of fun to the photography process in mobile photography, and you save time by not needing to edit your photos yourself. Therefore, if you want to practice your editing, then of course don't use this app. Anyway, I think you've understood how the app works, so let's go back to the day I was out shooting with my phone. The day I chose to go out with my phone was a fine sunny day with potential for a good sunset. The first interesting spot I found was across this road on this field. The big leafy plants caught my attention here. I thought these could be a cool subject. I've experimented with this app for about a month now and tried out the various looks it offers. By now, I've found my favorite. It's called EK80. While trying this out previously, I learned that this look pushes the highlights, therefore I usually underexpose the photo by about 1 stop so that the highlights don't become too bright. Here's the first shot. I'd say it's a typical warm-up shot, nothing special. Sadly, my phone miscalculated the white balance here, so the photo has a weird magenta tint. Next, I found this leaf sticking out of the bush here, so I tried to use it as a subject. This photo came out really nicely, I think. One of the reasons why I like the EK80 look is the way it processes the greens in the photos. I continued along the field and found this purple flower which really popped out of the greenery. Therefore, I tried to photograph that. The photo came out alright, but sadly again the white balance is completely off here. Of course, this is easily fixed in Lightroom, but for this video I want to keep the photos the way they are straight out of the app. After that short stop on the field, I continued my bike ride to this village. While riding along this road, I came to this house which seemed interesting to me. Or actually, it was the tree, not the house. The photo is okay. It's kind of lacking a proper composition, but I enjoyed the colors. I was about to continue my ride, but as you can see, I didn't get very far because I found the next potential photograph just a few meters further. I tried to capture the roses in front of the wall and its shadows, therefore I pretty brutally underexposed this shot. This is what I got, and I really like it. The composition worked out, the colors are looking good, and the shadows add some interesting elements to the photo. I continued along this road and came to this streak of light, which caught my attention. Sadly, I didn't manage to capture it. Instead, I got this shot, which is okay, but it's a bit random. Then, to the right, I saw these leaves. I thought by getting a little low, I could have the sky as a clean backdrop for the plant. It did somehow work out, but the house behind the plant is pretty distracting and kind of ruins the shot. Then further down the road, I came to this parking area which I thought looked cool, so I wanted to photograph it. I parked my bicycle to take my time, and as I turned back to the parking, I spotted this small airplane flying in the distance above the house. In the GoPro footage, you can barely see it, it's just a dot, but luckily with the phone I was able to zoom in a bit and get this photo, which is, I would say, very minimalistic, which I like. However, I really don't like the tree in the corner, so here's a square crop of the photo, which I think is quite cool. After that, I got the photo that I had actually stopped for, but it sadly didn't come out that nicely. For this scene, the phone just lacks the dynamic range, and with the contrast added by the app, the parking area is just way too underexposed. A few roads further, I found these rubbish bins, which I thought could work well as a subject, especially with their strong colors. Here's the photo, and indeed, the colors are looking pretty good in this one. Around the corner, I passed this here. I don't know exactly what to call this, but it looked interesting, however the shot came out too cold and underexposed. Next I came to this building site where the crane caught my attention. The photo is okay, it's a little compositionless and random to me. Right after shooting that, I continued the ride and saw a paraglider in the distance. Again, on the GoPro it's just a spot, but with my phone I was able to capture this here. This is very similar to the airplane photo, and again with a tree just peeking into frame at the bottom. Luckily the paraglider was flying in circles preparing for landing, so I was able to get a little closer and try a few more shots. These came out nicely. I really like the contrast and of course the minimalism in this photo. Here also I tried a square crop, which I think is quite nice. After that there, I came out of the village onto this road going across the field. I decided to park my bicycle and wander around a little. First I wanted to get a photo of the fence. I liked how the light of the sunset was hitting the wooden posts. I like the result. The contrast could be a little less, but it's alright. Then I saw this tree in the distance sticking out much higher than its neighbors. I got this photo, which I think is a bit boring. The sun was very close to setting and therefore pretty low, which created this long shadow of me. Knowing that the EK80 look from the app will enhance and further darken those shadows, I decided to try some shadow posing. This is the outcome. I like how the contrast worked well here. Then I walked up to those plants to get a low-angle photo of them. This is okay, nothing special though. After that, I turned around to walk back to my bicycle, but first, I spotted another paraglider worth photographing. This one came pretty close and was almost flying right above me, enabling me to get quite a few chances to get a good photo. And these came out so cool. I enjoyed the dark sky and the therefore resulting strong color contrast. This one is my favorite. I like the paraglider's tilted position here.
Whoa. What is going on here? You know what, I usually don't do puddle photos, but
this puddle somehow looked interesting to me, and the photo is quite alright. To my other side, there was another puddle with this plant lying perfectly centered inside it, so I got a shot of that, which came out pretty cool, I think. Here, the sun was still out, and I found another opportunity to shoot a shadow self-portrait kind of thing. I like it. Before I went out to shoot, I already had a photography idea I would like to try. I placed my shoes on the path and tried to use them as a slightly random subject. The composition came out alright, but here again I think the contrast is just too strong and the phone could have needed some more dynamic range here. Then while walking back to my bicycle, I looked up and saw the light hitting the trees and got a photo of that. The photo came out somehow simple, maybe a little boring, but I like the feeling it has. Right at the same spot, I turned around and saw the last sunlight of the day hitting the mountains in the distance and decided to capture that scene. The photo is okay. Then I actually wanted to continue my bike ride, however, as you can see, this is just a few meters further where I found some berries in the bush. I tried a lot of different compositions here, but none of them really worked well. I find the photos to be a little too cluttered. Then I finally continued a bit, and soon I came to this shed and I found these leaves rising up the wall, which I thought looked cool, so I got some photos. Not far from that shed, I reached the end of the road. On the way, I had got some photos, but they're not really worth showing the process of, so here's just a quick glance at these. Here, I'm on my way back to where I came from, and again, I found some paragliders in the air. I had the chance to get both of them in one shot, which however didn't turn out as cool as I had hoped. This one turned out really nicely. I like the strong gradient across the frame, with the one paraglider being the subject and adding the interest to the photo. And that was it. I'd say that was a successful mobile photography session. My personal photo of the day is this one here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm curious whether your opinion is similar or different to mine. I hope I could clearly bring across my message and inspire you to go out and do some photography no matter what you're shooting with. It really doesn't matter what you use, just have fun doing photography. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If so, leave a like. It helps me and my channel out to grow a little bigger, and consider subscribing if you haven't yet, and I'll hopefully see you again next week in the next video. Until then, goodbye.